Hello, marry me. So I'm going to discuss something that really annoys me, that quite a few Goths do, and that is when they whine and complain that people look at them. Yeah. Here's the point: what you choose to wear, what music you choose to listen to, and so on, does not give anybody the right to be mean to you. It doesn't give anybody the right to come with hurtful comments and such on and so forth. However, when one chooses to dress very differently than those around you, you have to expect people to look. This is a little bit the same as when I see girls go into town to go to a nightclub or something like that with something that could possibly be a skirt, or it might just be a sweater on and high heeled boots that goes to their knees, and hardly any covering over their boobs. I don't have anything against it wearing that. Awesome. But the problem is when you wear that and then they complain that men stare. Yeah, you sort of put your body on display. You have to expect men to stare. Does that mean that you have to expect them to? Again, that doesn't give men the right to rape you. It doesn't give men the right to come with hurtful comments and so on and so forth. But you have to expect them to stare. Like I like to wear pretty revealing. I like to show boob. Don't always do it, but I enjoy showing boob. I mean, I'm fat, and one of the few things that really makes that one of the few positive things about being fat is that you do get a pair of gaboosies, and I like to show them off. And I mean, I can't go around and complain if a man looks at my cleavage when I so clearly show it off, no can I? And it's the same. When I go out and I wear skulls everywhere and netting, sweaters and such and so forth, I have to expect people to look because it's not what people usually wear. Now, of course, there's degrees. There are goths who only, for example, wear a t-shirt and perhaps a little pendant and so on, and of course they will be stared at less than somebody who has gigantic artificial corkscrew curls pinned onto their heads and wear a full Victorian get-up and walks around with a skull parasol. But you will be looked at, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you don't want to be looked at, dress conservatively. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, it depends on where you live. If you live in a place that has a lot of goths, chances are people aren't gonna really look at you if you wear such things. But if you live in a little town that perhaps has one other goth, people are going to stare. And you can't really expect them not to. What you can expect people to do is leave you alone and not try to force you to conform. But at the same time, if you are going to be different, you have to be brave enough to accept the consequences. And one of the consequences is that you will be looked at. It's the same as if I saw somebody on the street who had their hair dyed in all of the rainbow's colors, uh, wore a pink tutu and a purple peasant top, and had My Little Ponies tattooed all over their visible body. I would probably give them a second look because it wouldn't be what I expect to see walking around. That doesn't mean I feel that it's wrong that they wear that. It doesn't mean that I have anything against them wearing that. It's just mean that it's not something I expect to see. And as such, I look. And yeah, and I mean, some people find it very uncomfortable that people look at them. And unfortunately, that's how it is. I mean, you can be goth without expressing it a lot visually. I mean, you can tone it down a lot. You can wear, like I said, a t-shirt, perhaps a vest, uh, perhaps a little skull pendant around your neck, and just go with that, and people probably won't look at you. Or you can be like one of my friends who considers himself the goth, but he don't feel that the visual part of it has anything to do with it. For him, it's all about the music, the literature, the uh, feeling of it. So he wears t-shirts and khakis. And I mean, you can be goth, but if you are going to wear alternative fashion, people are gonna look at you. It's the same as with anything that's unusual. If you are unusually beautiful, people will turn around and look at you. And that's how it is. If you have a scar on your face, chances are people will look at you. But looking at somebody doesn't mean it's an insult. It's a natural human thing to look at something that is unusual. Of course, if they go, ha ha, that's not okay. That's never okay, whatever it is. But I think one of the reasons why this has become a somewhat pet peeve of mine is that, and it's both goths and it's girls that wear very revealing clothing and then complain that somebody looks at them and so on and so forth. It's this idea that you have no responsibility at all for how people react to you. I mean, sure, I've been lucky. I have a very supportive family who, I mean, my mother dyed my hair black, and while she doesn't like the gothic look herself, she has said nothing wrong with me wearing it. Everybody around me are very supportive, and while I have gotten a few questions like, "Are you a Satanist?" I mean, people have said, oh yeah, okay, when I explain what Goth is. I mean, even my doctor, who is possibly one of the most religious people I know, and he's one of those. I don't know if he's a Baptist or an evangelical, but yeah, he's very, very Christian. And he has obviously been curious when it comes to me being an occultist, me being a goth, and so he went into black magic. I said, no, I'm generally what I do with healings, blessings, those sorts of things. And he said, okay. And what about the skulls and such a verse? And I said, I like the look of them, and they represent my interests in movies and books and so on and so forth. I and also I think uh, they represent that thing within me that likes the darkness. Doesn't mean that I am a dark person myself. And he went, okay. When I explain it to him, he's completely supportive. So I've been lucky. So of course you might then sit and say, okay, just stop judging others who do such and such and such when you haven't experienced being ridiculed for how you look. And I agree. To a certain degree, I don't. It might be easier for me to sit and say that than if I had gotten a lot of bullying for being goth. That you might be more sensitive if you've gotten that, but at the same time, the fact remains you've chosen an alternative way to dress. I think it's a very, very beautiful, amazing way to dress, but you still choose it yourself. And yeah, you can't expect people not to look. And I mean, I've been a god for quite some time, so I mean, in the beginning, when people said, Why are you wearing so much black? Why are you wearing the skulls?" And I said, I'm Goth." And I said, What's this goal, this golf you're talking about?" "No, no," I said, "it's Goth with an H." Okay. Yeah, what's that? Oh, well, it's a lifestyle. It's based around an appreciation of darkness and longing for uh, more, what should I say, romanticized world. And at the same time, it bases itself a lot on Gothic literature, music, which is a style that came out of punk in the 80s. And so, oh, oh. But you just see that there's no real understanding in the eyes. But not that I mean to mean anything, but like I said, I was goth back when it wasn't that popular. I mean, now a lot of TV series have a goth character. A lot of people know what goth is. So of course it will be less staring. But I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into. I chose that I would express myself this way, no matter if people stared at me. And really, that's what you have to do. If somebody's mean to you, then of course go and give them a piece of your mind. But that they look at you, that's just that they haven't seen something like that before, or they find it very unusual. Which it still is. It's still a minority lifestyle. And while there's some places in the world where golf is very well known, I mean, around here I live in a town of, how big is it? 20,000 inhabitants, I think. And I can't remember having seen another goth out here. I know a few people that is sort of into it, that might have a skull purse and so on and so forth, but a person that is in full goth getup, so to speak, haven't really seen one. See, so when you go into Bergen, which is Norway's second biggest city, which I'm sort of living in the suburbia of, but here out on Sutra, no, not really. No. So I mean, I expect people to look at me, and that's what you have to do. And it's the same if you choose to wear very revealing clothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Wearing revealing clothing, it's amazing if that's what you want to do to present yourself. But you have to expect that people will look at you and they will also react to you in a certain manner. If you wear clothing that sort of say that you are out to find a man or a woman or whatever it is that you are looking for, you have to expect people to come with a few more offers than if you wear more conservative clothing. Of course, again, it has to do with how it's presented. If people are mean spirited and so on, you shouldn't have to tolerate that. You have to expect that people react to you a certain way. And it's the same that if you wear skulls everywhere, you have to expect somebody to ask about the skulls. If you walk out in a Dracula cape, you have to expect somebody to look at you and perhaps ask you what that cape is all about. So, yeah. So, I guess that's what I wanted to say with this rant, is that I think it's amazing to wear gothic clothing and jewelry and whatever, because, I mean, I do it myself. I really like it. I like the aesthetics of it. However, I also feel that when you choose to wear an alternative way of clothing, no matter what that alternative clothing is, You have to expect people to look at you, and looking at you doesn't mean they have anything against you. But you are looking unusual, and you have to accept that. If you cannot tolerate people looking at you, then wear what everybody else wears, and you will probably disappear in the crowd. But if you are sticking out, people will notice you. That's how it is. Stop whining about it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Have a great day. Blessed be.